Now, well, the fans are pouring into Jack Murphy Stadium. That's a live picture from high above, ready for a star-studded night. The first pitch is set for just about an hour from now. But the excitement begins right now. In the next 30 minutes, we're going to preview the game and the players. We're going to profile Ryne Sandberg, the only Chicago player starting in tonight's game. He talks about what the All-Star Game means to him. We'll also take a look at the performance of the Chicago baseball team so far this year and look forward to the second half of the season with managers Jim Lefevre and Gene Lamont. And we will meet the Kane County Cougars, a bit of pro baseball in our area you may not know about. But first, the big show and a big night. Nearly 60,000 fans right now filing into Jack Murphy Stadium. They call it the Murph for their chance to see the greatest in the game. And it's a tough ticket to get, but that is not stopping the fans. Reporter Jody Hammett is in San Diego with the story of how Chicago fans are having fun at the All-Star Game.
Baseball fans started arriving 5 to 6 hours before game time just to savor the excitement surrounding the All-Star Game. And you know that anytime you have true blue fans, you're going to find Chicagoans.
That's because we're the best fans in the world. That's why. Everybody's a Cub fan, or they wish they were.
You can't go far around San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium without running into Cubs fans. And they're laying money down for souvenirs.
We think we sold out of every one of the Cubs players.
Really?
They're very popular.
My favorite team.
Oh, really?
I don't know if I want a shirt or if I want a beers later on tonight at the game.
Tough decision.
It is. Hard choice.
There aren't many freebies for All-Star fans, so anything given away will draw a crowd. Even at the All-Star Game, you can't waste any sun time. After all, this is Southern California. San Diegans still remember being called quiche-eating wimps by a certain Chicago columnist during the 1984 National League Championships.
Now that they're moving from the East Division to the West Division, they have to learn how to hate somebody, so they're giving up the Mets for the Padre fans now, so we're looking forward to that very much.
San Diego hasn't hosted an All-Star Game since 1978, and the locals are more than ready to play ball. The weather is muggier than we're used to here in San Diego, but if you're from Chicago, you'd feel right at home. Temperature at game time should be around 75 degrees under a full moon, a stadium filled with people who wouldn't want to be anywhere else. From San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium, I'm Jody Hammond for Channel 2 News.
All right, Jody. Well, 4 Chicago players will see action in the game tonight. Ryne Sandberg leads the Chicago contingent. He was the top vote getter, of course, for the National League team. He'll be joined by pitcher Greg Maddux. As for the White Sox, you got Jack McDowell and third baseman Robin Ventura. They will see action, hopefully, for the American League team. Now, Ryne Sandberg playing in his 8th All-Star Game tonight. The honor comes after Ryno signed the richest contract in the history of Major League sports. Even though some other big names have had a hard time after signing huge contracts, Ryno is having another excellent year. Channel 2's Howard Sudbury talked with Ryno about playing in tonight's game, and Howard joins us now. What kind of feelings did he have about tonight's game?
Well, Corey, you'd think it might get routine for Sandberg, but he is as excited as ever about playing in the All-Star Game this year. His 8th start at second base ties him with Rod Crew and Nellie Fox for the most starts in All-Star baseball history at that position. While a lot of veterans would just as soon have the 3 days off, Sandberg is happy to be in San Diego, and an attitude like that has helped him stay so good at his job that he's already earned his place in Cooperstown. He's a model of consistency. He rarely makes an error.
What a great catch!
Hits with power, hits in the clutch. An off year would be his first. Because of that, because he's somebody that the Cubs can count on, Ryne Sandberg will become a $7 million a year man in '93. Baseball's first. Sandberg broke the bank agreeing to the deal before this season. But did the security of the big dough change him? Forget it. He goes into the All-Star break hitting .279 with 11 homers and 47 RBIs. And he's an All-Star again.
Something that I look forward to going into the season is hopefully going to an All-Star game. You know, that says something right there. And so I'm looking forward to the All-Star game this year.
It seems like Ryne Sandberg has had a dream career. He's a perennial All-Star. He'll be the highest paid player in the game. But with all his money, he knows he can't buy what he really wants.
The thing that's at the top of my list is playing in a World Series, and playing in a World Series here in Chicago. this is where I want to have that opportunity. Having a taste of it in '84 and '89. I know what the city does and what the fans do, and what it feels like, to have that chance and to play on a winner. I think the ultimate dream would be to have a parade down Michigan Avenue for the Chicago Cubs.
The only knock you hear people make on Ryne Sandberg is that he's not a real boisterous guy, not a rah-rah leader, but I think if you ask Jim Lefevre in a few minutes, he'd rather have a guy that'll hit you a 3-run homer in the clutch, right?
You better believe it. Now, you've covered Rhino since he first came on the scene, back 84, I believe. Has he changed at all in terms of the way he deals with us, with the media, with the big picture?
No, I think the only way he's changed is he might even deal with it a little bit better. He's he's a laid-back guy, but he's always available for an interview, and he just goes about his business. When he gets to the ballpark, his mind is on business. He gets his game face on the second he gets there, and that's why he's going to make $7 million a year next year, right?
As long as he rips, who cares if he talks to us,
exactly.
Right? All right, Howard, thanks. Up next, the starting lineups for tonight's All-Star Game. We'll handicap the game with Jim Lefevre and Gene Lamont. And then, something new tonight, the tiny camera in first base. We'll show you base cam. Yeah, that's nice.
This special sponsored in part by Wendy's and by Chevrolet, the heartbeat of America, the cars more people depend on.
Security. The sun upon my skin like a rock. Hard against the wind like a rock. Only Chevy S10 Blazer 4x4 gives you America's favorite four-wheel drive system and the security of standard four-wheel anti-lock brakes. Chevrolet, the trucks you can depend on. The trucks that last. Now it's easy to own a Chevy truck.
So I gotta buy a washer and dryer, but I'm a little concerned. I walk into those places, I swear an alarm goes off. Sucker now 7, trade them up, make more commission. They're gonna take me to the cleaners, and if I'm going to the cleaners, I don't need a washer and dryer. Highland, I think, is the answer. They don't work on commissions anymore, so they're not gonna sell you something that you're not sure of.
Bigger selection, guaranteed lowest price, and no commission salespeople. Only at the new Highland.
Mr. Marta, do you pre-soak?
Not on the first date.
Highland, the best price and honest advice.
Is it on? Today, Wendy's is happy to announce a great low price on a new old-fashioned single combo. It's a quarter pound of fresh beef, hot off the grill, made just the way you want it. Plus, biggie fries that are really big, and you get your favorite 20-ounce drink. Now, that's what I call a real meal. What's more, you save a bundle.
Try Wendy's old-fashioned single combo, just $2.99 for a limited time.
Was it something I said?
Noah, you're cleared for takeoff.
Oh, it's wonderful.
A visit to Noah's Ark in Wisconsin Dells is just the ticket for a great summer getaway. For a free Wisconsin Dells fun guide, call 1-800-22-DELLS.
Thank you for flying Noah's Ark, and have a pleasant stay in Wisconsin Dells.
That wintry dawn, I was making my rounds when I was surprised to see a new shop aglow. A bake shop of a Mr. Thomas. A warm world of wonderful smells, where in a professional capacity I inspected a hot English muffin with nooks and crannies. A policeman's lot is a hard life, but someone's got to do it.
Thomas's English Muffins. For over 100 years, a delicious taste of England in America.
Welcome back to our Channel 2 All-Star Special. Let's right now run down tonight's All-Star lineups. First of all, for the National League, leading off Ozzie Smith of the Cardinals, his 10th consecutive start. Nobody's had more since the fans began balloting back in 1970. Tony Gwynn from San Diego in right field gets to play in front of the home crowd. In the third spot, it's Barry Bonds out of Pittsburgh. Could be the best all-around hitter in the game. Fred McGriff, San Diego, the crime dog, one of 3 Padres to start. In the 5th slot, Terry Pendleton playing in his first All-Star game. In the 6th slot, it's Andy Van Slyke hitting .340 at the break. Then you got Rhino batting 7th, if you can believe that. Benito Santiago, he's the catcher out of San Diego, of course, 4th consecutive start. Tom Glavine, the starting pitcher from Atlanta, he leads the league with 13 victories. Now, for the American League, the starters go like this. Roberto Alomar from Toronto at second base, a starter with brother Sandy for the 2nd straight year. From Boston, of course, Wade Boggs, a perennial All-Star, despite the fact he's hitting only .263 right now. Kirby Puckett in the third slot from Minnesota out of Calumet High School on the south side, hitting a cool .334. In the cleanup spot, Joe Carter from Toronto, returning to his former hometown. At the 5 spot, Mark McGuire, Mr. Long Ball himself, leads the majors with 28 dingers. Cal Ripken from Baltimore, top vote getter in the league, is next, followed by Ken Griffey Jr. from Seattle. This guy's going to be an all-star forever, I got a feeling. Sandy Alomar is next. Remember his dad, Sandy, played ball for the Sox many moons ago. And the starting pitcher from Texas, Kevin Brown, a guy came almost out of nowhere, winningest pitcher in baseball, his record 14-4. And we have equal representation here tonight. Joining us, Cubs skipper Jim Lefevre and Sox manager Gene Lamont. Guys, thanks for coming by, first of all. And I want to ask you, first of all, when you watch this game tonight, first of all, for you, Jim, do you really root hard for your league? I mean, you were in the American League last year. Do you automatically take on the National League as your league now? Do you root for your guys? Do you care who wins? How does it go for you?
Well, I root for our league, actually. You know, I played the 1966 All-Star Game, and it was just a thrill being with all those great players, Willie Mays and McCovey well, we had a lot of great players
Sure.
there. And then suddenly, when they say play ball, I mean, the competitive spirit comes out, and you want to win. So I know I'm very proud of the National League, and I'm rooting for them.
Now, Gene, what about you? You got McDowell out there, you got Ventura. When they get in the game tonight, will you be excited for them, nervous, what?
Well, I think that's probably a little nervous. Excited for both of them. I know they're both real excited, especially Robin his first time. I know yesterday or Sunday, he was ready to go, you know, and it's out there on the West Coast where he's from, and I was happy for both of them.
Jim, what is the problem with the National League? I mean, you came over from the American League. What's the secret over there? They won 5 of the last 6. Is it the fact that they use a lot of relief pitching in the American League that shuts these guys down? What is it?
Well, I think that's it. I know when I was with Tony La Russa over in Oakland, I mean, he made a big effort of putting a winning team together. I mean, that was especially the pitching staff. But I think it's a trend. I mean, you go over there, and for a while, the National League was dominating the game, and so suddenly the American League just said, hey, we're going to start winning ball games. And I think it's just a streak right now, really.
Now, the All-Star Game selection process, much criticized, of course. Andre and Mark from your team, and of course, Frank Thomas deserves a spot. Should they think about changing this thing up a little bit, how they select the All-Stars?
You know, I think the fans really like it, Corey. Though they go to the ballpark, they pick their own team every time, and it's too bad, I think, that some of the players that are deserving don't get there, but you know, it's still a fans' game, and as much as they like it, the only thing I can see, maybe you could expand the roster 2 or 3. I heard somebody say 35. I think that's getting awful big. But you know, it's still a fans' game, and they love it, so I think it's probably going to stay the same way.
Jim, now you told me earlier today your pick for the pregame MVP selection would be Terry Pendleton of the Braves. Why do you like Terry tonight?
First of all, he's hitting the 5th spot, and that's a good spot to be with all those great hitters. They're going to be in front of him. But, you know, Terry's first game, and I know what kind of competitor he is. I know how much, when you play that first game, you want to do well. A lot of guys kind of go through the motions, but I think Terry is going to be in the right spot at the right time. That's just a gut feeling.
All right. Now, Jim, I believe you went for a gentleman that Mr. Lefevre knows a little bit, Ken Griffey Jr. tonight. Why do you like Kenny?
You know, I think he'll probably get to play quite a bit. I think what happens quite often is the players that start the game, like, you know, Jim picked Terry, he might be out by the 5th inning. For some reason, I just think that Griffey will get to play maybe in the 7th or 8th inning and get a chance to be a star. If not, it could easily be a relief pitcher.
How good is this guy, Jim, by the way?
Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah.
He's the best that I've ever seen come around. He's a terrific defensive player. As we know, he'll run into walls, make great catches. We know about his hitting with power, but he's a complete player. I mean, he's just awesome. Whatever he drives in, he'll save defensively, you know, twofold. Okay, now, guys, something you're going to have to watch tonight during the broadcast on CBS. You've heard probably of the helmet cam with football. Well, you heard about base cam. CBS has installed a tiny camera inside first base pointing towards second. You can see where the camera will be here, tucked inside the actual base. Major League Baseball agreed to go along with the idea after being assured the camera will not hurt any players.
That was the league's major concern, was that no one would injure themselves if they were sliding into the second base. They were very worried about someone breaking a finger or anything like that, and that's why we made it recoil in to try and protect the players.
So what does the shot look like exactly? Well, you're going to have to wait. CBS is keeping it a secret until tonight. Game time, of course, about 40 minutes away. Still a lot more to come on our All-Star Special. It's been a year of inspiring highs and disappointing lows on the north side and the south side. Next, our skippers take a look at what's ahead in the second half. Coming up.
Holy cow! He hit that ball a mile.
Would you like one of these?
I think
Tic Tac is clearly better than Asserts.
Oh, yeah.
No, really. With only 1.5 calories, Tic Tac freshens your breath just as well as that does.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, let's see. I'm almost convinced. Oh, right. I am convinced.
Tic Tac.
I'm gone. I'm history for now.
The incredible 1.5 calorie breath mint.
A night for Excedrin PM.
This day won't go away.
My allowance.
Your vacation?
Canceled.
The check bounced. I can't sleep and my head aches.
You want Excedrin PM, strong aspirin-free headache medicine you can feel good about, plus a gentle ingredient to help you sleep.
Mother is staying indefinitely.
Make a bad day go away with Excedrin PM, and rest assured it's aspirin-free.
This is an emergency. Please clear the street.
He's on the loose.
The scene here is one of total chaos.
He's out of control.
Oh my God.
He's headed your way.
He's over 100 feet tall.
And whatever you do, don't make him cranky. Walt Disney Pictures presents Rick Moranis as the father who accidentally blew up his kid. Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, rated PG. Starts Friday, July 17th at a theater near you.
What kind of truck should you expect for around 10 grand? One with a 2.8-liter V6, rear anti-lock brakes, and killer stereo, standard. Chevy S10 Tahoe. One more reason America's favorite first truck is Chevy S10 pickup. Chevrolet. And now get $750 cash back on the truck that lasts.
Is it on? Today, Wendy's is happy to announce a great low price on a new old-fashioned single combo. It's a 1/4 pound of fresh beef, hot off the grill, made just the way you want it. Plus, baby fries that are really big, and you get your favorite 20-ounce drink. Now, that's what I call a real meal. What's more, you save a bundle.
Try Wendy's old-fashioned single combo, just $2.99 for a limited time.
Was it something I said?
Welcome back to our All-Star Special. I'm Corey McPherrin. Time now to look ahead to the second half. The Sox and the Cubs nowhere near where they want to be right now. They expect big things, but the time to crank it up is now. On the south side, let's just say things haven't been rocking like a lot of people figured. Newcomer Steve Sachs, thought to be the final piece to the puzzle, has yet to show his talent, hitting just .229. Frustrated? You better believe it. The bullpen, inconsistent at best. Bobby Big Pen, 19 saves, but he's blown a bunch of big ones, like here at Boston last week.
Way back. Gets out of here.
On the plus side, there's ex-Cub George Bell crushing the ball as predicted.
Gone! Home run! George Bell, grand slam!
George may be a godlike figure at Comiskey, but he and Robin and Frank can't do it alone. The Sox start the second half at 509.5 game record. The Cubs, meanwhile, like the Sox, have a long way to go, even though their pitching staff's been an astounding surprise. Greg Maddux leads what may be the National League's #1 staff. And then you've got Mark Grace, sweet swinging like always, Mr. Consistency. But beyond Grace and Rhino and Andre, the offense is hurting, like against Atlanta this last weekend. No production. The Cubs as a team scoring less than 3.5 runs per game, and that is their #1 problem. They stare at an 8.5 game deficit, a 5th place ball club, 7 games below 500. All right, back with the principals, Gene and Jim. I know you want to do better, but right now, first of all, Gene, for you guys, back as far as you are in the pack, I know you wanted to be maybe 4.5 out by now. You got to be discouraged. I mean, can you come back? How realistic a shot do you have right now?
Well, of course, we think we can come back. I think if the Twins play at the same level that they're playing at the same percentage, we'd have a tough time. But, you know, we think we have a team that's capable of putting a big streak together, but we can't wait too long. You know, we can't lose 2, 3, 4 games in a row and expect to get back, because the Twins aren't going to lose too often.
Yeah, and Jim, you guys were back up to 500 a couple weeks ago, and now you're 7 games down again. You got to be discouraged, but how do you look at the second half? What do you got to do to get back in this thing?
Well, first of all, we got to continue to pitch well, and that's exactly what we've been doing. I think that people now can say that our staff is legitimate. One thing we needed was more punch in the lineup, and we got Cal Daniels, required Cal Daniels, and also Steve Buechele to play third base for us. Very, very experienced, quality, high-level players. If we keep Cal Daniels healthy and on the field, and Buechele can play, and everybody just chips in, we have a chance to score the runs that are necessary to want to run off a streak. We're 7 games below 500, and it is discouraging because we really felt that the momentum was leading our way. We were getting to the point where we felt that we could compete, and all at once the bottom fell out. Keep our pitching healthy, and just put some runs on the board and take one game at a time and get a good streak going, we can get back into it.
Sounds like the same plan for you guys, I guess. Let me pick up on something you mentioned. You mentioned Buechele, and here's a gentleman who knows Buechele a little bit because last year at Pittsburgh he played for part of the year after he came over from Texas. How big of a presence will Buechele be? And Gene, maybe you can speak to this fellow. I have some tape here of him both hitting and making some good fielding plays as well. What kind of player is he?
Well, for one thing, Steve's a hard-nosed player, and to win, you have to have hard-nosed players. He's I think, a winning player. He makes great plays at third base. I don't know what a hit for an average. He'll get some big hits for the Cubs. I know that. He did that for us at crunch time last year, and he was a great addition for him. I'm sure that the Cubs are going to like what they see, and the Pirates are going to miss him.
Yeah, first real third baseman you figure since Sano. I guess that's the talk, huh?
That is the talk, and I really believe that. I mean, it's tough to replace a Ron Sano. Ron Say came in and had a couple good years, but since then it's been a crapshoot, and it's really been tough. But we feel now we not only have a guy this year, but he's going to be with us 3 more years.
Gene, now obviously we mentioned Sachs a minute ago. Timmy Raines having his problems, and then you got a Danny Pasqua who's had injury problems. Obviously, looks like he may be healthy now. He's got to come back and provide some punch, doesn't he?
I think Danny's probably a real key for our offense. I think George and Frank and Robin Ventura are going to hit, but 3 guys can't do it all the time. Danny started to get hot, pulled a hamstring. He's had a little trouble with it again lately. But I think for us to really get our offense going, Dan has to at times carry the team. And he can do that, but he has to do it right away to begin with.
All right, guys. Have fun tonight, and best of luck to your teams.
Well, thank you.
All right, Jim Lefevre and Gene Lamont. All-Stars must get their start somewhere, and up next, we'll show you where. Welcome to Kane County Field, home of the minor league Cougars. The usher will show you to your seat for some of the most exciting baseball in our area. Catch the Cougars as our All-Star special continues.
There are 2 kinds of cars. The cars you love to drive and the cars you need to drive. The cars that really handle and the cars that handle the groceries. The cars you don't want to stop driving and the cars that make the stops you need. With standard anti-lock brakes and a 200 horsepower V6, Chevy Lumina Euro 3.4 is 2 kinds of car for 1 kind of driver. You. The cars more people depend on. And now it's easy to win with the heartbeat.
Is it on? Today, Wendy's is happy to announce a great low price on a new old-fashioned single combo. It's a quarter pound of fresh beef, hot off the grill, made just the way you want it. Plus, biggie fries that are really big, and you get your favorite 20-ounce drink. Now, that's what I call a real meal. What's more, you save a bundle.
Try Wendy's old-fashioned single combo, just $2.99 for a limited time.
Was it something I said?
From one end of the earth to another, introducing AT&T World Connect service. Now when you're traveling with an AT&T card, country-to-country calls are as easy as dialing AT&T USA Direct. AT&T, it's all in the cards.
There are things about Abraham Lincoln a kid can't get from a history book. They can't return to the village where he once lived, or see where he hung his hat, or walk the very floors he did. And one other thing, they can't rub his nose for good luck.
Today, there's a powerful name in aspirin-free pain relief. Aspirin-free Anacin, maximum strength.
The aspirin-free Anacin worked beautifully.
Aspirin-free Anacin gives you strong, fast relief. Yet, like Tylenol, it's 100% aspirin-free, so it's gentle on your stomach.
the aspirin-free Anacin worked as effectively as Tylenol and was as gentle on my stomach.
Aspirin-free Anacin, maximum strength. And for nighttime pain with sleeplessness, get new aspirin-free Anacin PM.
This special sponsored in part by Wendy's and by Chevy Trucks, the trucks you can depend on, the trucks that last.
Well, they're the best baseball players in the world, but tonight's All-Stars didn't suddenly get that way. For most, it took years of work. And that began in the minor leagues for many of them. You may not know it, but we have a minor league team right here in the Chicago area, the Kane County Cougars. And tonight, Channel 2's Larry Menti takes us to Kane County Field, where baseball's future stars mix with stars of years gone by.
Every young man who's felt a bat sting his hands as he strokes a fastball into the outfield has had the dream.
It's been I've dreamed about since I was a kid, playing Little League, growing up. All these guys, I mean, each one of us, the same teams, have the same dream of making it.
Making it to the major leagues, to play baseball for a living. As minor leaguers, these Kane County Cougars are almost there. Every day on the field is an audition for the Baltimore Orioles.
I hope you can read this, son.
Bob Fredericks passed the audition 60 years ago and made it to the big show as a relief pitcher.
I was pretty good, pretty fast, and I had a good curveball. But I had a putrid changeup. I couldn't get it over for hell.
Back in 1933, 27-year-old Robert George Fredericks pitched just 4 innings for the Washington Senators. He got banged around pretty good. But still, Bob says those 4 innings are his greatest memory.
What's the best thing about baseball? Why is it so special? Why is it your best memory and their dream?
Well, it's something that you can tell later on to people that come up and ask you, well, what'd you do when you were up there? Who did you run into? And things like that, and you like to tell them something.
And Bob has something to tell. In those 4 glorious innings, Bob pitched to Babe Ruth.
He hit a ground ball to the second baseman. He was thrown out at first.
Was it a huge relief when he grounded out?
Oh, yeah. I ran off the ballpark, ran into the dugout, which fortunately was at first base at that time.
And now Bob Fredericks is an usher on the first base side at Kane County Field. If you go there to share a dream with the Cougars, maybe Bob will share a memory. At 86 years old, he can't get baseball out of his blood.
I like to keep active. I don't want to sit back on a chair and let life pass me by. I enjoy life.
Enjoying life in Kane County, Larry Menti, Channel 2 News.
That's a great story. Larry will have more on the Cougars on a Channel 2 News Extra report tonight following the All-Star Game. But first, CBS Sports coverage of the 1992 All-Star Game is next. All the highlights, post-game reaction, Channel 2 News right after the game. Thanks for joining us, and so long, everybody.